Hi, it's James the Forager here, and today we're making this luscious green liquid full of flavour. It's called wild garlic oil. Really simple to do, and first we've got to head out and pick our wild garlic leaves. We can take the stems and the leaves, and we're going to chop them up. But when we chop them, what I'm going to use in this recipe is the green leaves. I'm going to save the stems and use those in a recipe a little bit later on. The reason I'm using the green leaves is because I want this oil to be vibrant green in colour, and it will still add the exact same flavour, but it'll give it a fantastic colour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop mine as fine as possible because I want to pop it into a little blender later on. But what we're going to do to start with, we chop it up and I'm going to pop mine in a sieve. Just makes everything much cleaner because what we have to do is cook this. So once it's in the sieve, I'll get some water to a simmer and I'm going to drop the sieve into the water with the wild garlic just for about 30 seconds. Just to cook it off a tiny bit, we don't want to lose the flavour. And as soon as it hits those 30 seconds, I'm going to pull it back out. I've got a little bowl prepared with some ice and water, so some ice cold water, and I'll pop the sieve with the warm wild garlic into there, move it around to cool it down. That means it keeps the colour and stops the cooking really, really quickly. And then once I've done that, I'm going to try and squeeze out as much water as possible from the wild garlic because we don't want to be too much water going into that oil. Ideally, the least amount possible. Once I've squeezed it out, I'll then pop it on a cloth and then press the cloth around it again to remove even more water. We want the least amount of liquid in there possible. Pop that into a little jug, top it up with 200ml oil. So we're using 100g wild garlic, 200ml oil. You can increase that or decrease it as you see fit, and then blend it. It'll start off a bit chunky, but after a little while, it'll get a nice, smooth paste. You could just use this paste straight off if you're not too bothered. Pop that in a jar and you've got chunky wild garlic oil, absolutely fine. But if you want to make it a little bit more fancy, a little bit more refined, you can pop it through a sieve and a cloth. So what I do, same sieve, I don't have to add an extra. I dry it off before I do this, pop a little muslin cloth over it. You can use little blue washing cloths, as long as it's fresh and clean. Pop the cloth over, pour the wild garlic oil mixture on, and let it pass through. Ideally, you let this do it overnight by itself. Otherwise it can end up a bit milky. Again, doesn't matter, it's just for luck. Let it pass through overnight, then the next day pour it into a jar and that's it. You've got wild garlic oil. It's advised to use this if you're going fresh, pop it in the fridge and use it within a couple of days. Maximum I would say is 2 weeks. If you want to keep it for much longer, I'd pop it into little bags or little plastic tubs or anything and put it in the freezer, and then it'll keep for 6 months and you can get those out as and we'd use this in things like butter, mayonnaise, split sauces, marinades, vinaigrettes, or you can just drizzle it on top of food, whatever you like. Enjoy wild garlic oil.